welcome again with another episode of I'm Telling You.
No, the Green Room.
Green Room, sorry.
Which is the precursor to, which came after the fact. It's like, it's the prequel.
We are February 3rd.
Episode 4.
Episode 5? 4?
Episode 4.
Episode 4.
Green Room.
Green Room
4.
episode 4, that's right, yeah.
I know. You're losing track of time.
Well, I didn't have this all prepped, but so you have some things to bring, and I don't know if I really have any notes from last time. So last time we were talking about, I think mostly Walter Russell.
Getting lost in the woods.
That was part of it, yeah. That's, I think, an important part about getting lost. Just get lost. Take a hike.
Well, and so I one of his quotes, because I started doing a little bit of research after we talked, so I got into some more stuff. One of his quotes was something about go into the woods and get lost, or go into your room and get lost. But basically, like, he's more or less saying, hey, you need to disconnect from all that which is sensory, so smell, sight, sound, and go to the internal. Right, so to me that was kind of that whole get lost in the woods thing. So whether it's a Mecca or Buddha going in, or there's many a story where they discuss the idea of getting lost to be found. Right, the irony of life. I think that's to me. So we were talking about him going into the woods, the periodic table and how he saw it, which came after the fact of, him, because you were saying he was doing it as a younger man, so 12, 13, whatever, goes into the woods to kind of become one with the everything, right?
Well, he started that side of things when he was very young, but the sciencey stuff I think came much later in life. Obviously, you know what I mean.
Well, because he was looking for like explanations to what he was feeling in a sense.
And
I mean, that would be my guess, because that's kind of what I did. Is as a human, I would feel certain things, but it was like if I knew it, but I couldn't understand it. So when I started reading psychology, the psychology helped me to understand. Oh, this is my body and how it reacts. This makes more sense that I would feel this way, or that I would have this sense. So that was, so I get that as an older person going from what I just perceived to understanding why, or at least starting to question why.
So you started looking some stuff up and started trying to figure out, like, what did you learn about your
Well, so some of what I did was him. I looked up, because he died 60, 70 years ago almost, I think, or something. There's limited audio video of him, obviously. That's the world we live in today. For us to find that, it's very, very, very limited. But in doing so, trying to just find things, I did get quite a few people trying to explain. There's a few books that people wrote about him that others were trying to just give a synopsis of. So there was a lot of peripheral information,
which is good.
Well, but it does give a relative, context in a sense. But there wasn't anything that I found that was truly direct from him, which was, a bit of a letdown, I suppose. Anticlimactic as it was. But in doing so, I did come across a thing where it was 20 best quotes of Walter Russell. And so I started just going through them, reading them, seeing which ones resonated with me and why. And I did come across a few that, I found rather interesting. I think I even sent one of them to you, didn't I? It was a rather large one. I'm pretty sure I sent you a picture of that earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which is on your phone. Yeah, to me, I was like, dude, this one is way too long. I don't want to write it down. I'm just going to send it to my dude for later. That was me being intelligent and using... delegating my authority in a sense, right? Asking for the help without actually asking for it. Yeah, a little passive aggressive, but it worked, and I appreciate you. So there was quite a few that actually resonated with me on many levels. which I want to share with you, not so much because I'm like, hey, I want to share them, but I kind of want to see what and if they do resonate with you, and if so, why and how and all that kind of stuff. Because I'm kind of curious about it because I had rather strong feelings towards these, so I'm just curious if...
When you started looking into Walter Russell, you started getting some stuff that resonated with you within those quotes?
Well, there was quite a bit, honestly, that I was hearing about him and reading about him that resonated a lot, but within all of what I was doing, these were the... outside of the one that I sent you, these are the three that just really just kind of, they were like short and to the point almost. Very, very matter of fact. Mediocrity is self-inflicted and genius is self-bestowed. Right? To me, that was very much just like, hey, when you allow your ego to run the show, stuff happens. But when you let pride and everything else, expectations, ego, when you let all that go, when you truly surrender and just become a part of the show, that's when genius happens, right? That's what I took from it. And the one I sent to you, which albeit was very, very long, I questioned you on it, was a part of the 80-20, because that was a continuation of our past conversation, right? That's how I referenced it.
Yeah, I just read it again, and I had to think about it for a minute. I'm like, yeah, there is kind of a...
Well, that's why I put a question mark. I literally sent, this quote of Walter Russell to him, and then underneath I just put 80-20 rule, question mark.
But it's like the way that he writes, though. It's bleh. Do not attempt to accomplish greater results by a greater effort of your little understanding, but by a greater understanding of your little effort. The greater your understanding of the power within yourself, the less effort you need to make in order to achieve. Walter Russell.
Yeah, and to me that's like, hey, if you become such a master of your ability, it should take very little effort to get quite a bit of output, right? And that's kind of, to me, that rule of 80-20. You should be able to do 20% of your effort to get 80% of your outcome.
Well, that was that applying the 80-20 in business. That's exactly, he's putting that into... Spiritual,
right?
Or words for life. I mean, whatever. I mean,
yeah,
absolutely.
And that's cause,
like it. I like it.
There you see. There you go. Yeah, he just.
But it took a minute to think. Like when I was running around with the kids earlier, like I looked at it and I was like, oh, maybe. But like I actually took a minute to think about it right now, and I'm like, yeah, that actually works.
Nice. All right. So then, mediocrity is self-inflicted and genius is self-bestowed. Love that. When your knowing exceeds your sensing, we will no longer be deceived by the illusions of our senses. Right? When our knowing exceeds our sensing. So when we are just so certain on the inside, like, right? When we just know, then we could care less how we feel. Like our gut reaction, what it sounds like, what it feels like, none of that matters. We know, right? So once we get past the sensing and we just are in the knowing, we are no longer deceived by illusions of our senses. And to me, that's just like, dude, when you are so blind, like, and that was the conversation we were having before, that nirvana where you get lost in that thing that is you, that you feel comfortable with, right? When that happens, that's that peace. You no longer are deceived by the other things. You could care less what your brain or ego or anybody, any negativity, anything that would detract you from that thing. You're just kind of like, yeah, I could care less. I'm going to peace out. I'm going to do my thing. It's whatever. All good in the hood. So I like that. I think that's, and again, these were only 3 of the top 20, which, these are the 3 that really resonated with me. And then
some don't make the best sound bites because you really kind of have to, chew on them for a while. So some of them, they don't come off. And I guess maybe if you're reading it and having it read to you at the same time. But
well, yeah, I mean, just like you had, where you had to reread that one I sent you, and then all of a sudden you rereading it and then also hearing it, it was just like, bing, the light bulb went off. So whether it's amount of time or the different ways that you have to be able to ingest it or perceive it, that's, all of a sudden you get that differentiation, right? And that's the thing you need for it to sink in and light bulb go off. And then this one I really liked. When one trusts this inner universal power, it automatically draws forth the trust of the people one deals with. the law of attraction. So basically, once you...
Yeah, but this was how...
Yeah, I know, right? Well, and that's the thing. So once you can trust
that?
inward, like once you can literally trust inward within yourself, that means then you can trust outward with others. And that, to me, that really resonates, because it's, if you don't love yourself, how can somebody else really love you? And that's how a lot of us get stuck in that stuff, right? Where we get lost in this continuous, repetitive cycle that just, exacerbates the situation, because all you're doing is like, hey, I'm not good enough. And then, if I'm not good enough, then this person who says I'm like this amazing thing, well, they got to be lying to me. You can't believe them, even though in in their eyes, you're this most amazing thing. So yeah, we get lost in that whole, and I think that goes back to the, knowing and sensing, right? So when we're sensing or feeling and we get lost with the ego of it saying this, that, and the other, it's like, we should just be in the know, trust that we are beautiful, love, and light. And then all things around us would do the same. So it's, so you have to have trust for yourself to have trust of others. You have to have love for yourself to have love for others, and so on and so on.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm sitting over here thinking, because it's.
I know that was a lot to take in. My apologies.
No, it's all right. But and my mind's wandering as I'm thinking and taking this all in. And
well, it is the green room, right? This is not the tree of trust. Can we not? Is this not where this happens?
You can't put thoughts on. Yeah, it just kind of makes dead air if you put thoughts on the mic. So I was still kind of chewing all that and just.
Thoughts on the mic is just. Yeah, no, not a good thing. Yeah, I get that.
But those are the ones that happen to resonate most with you out of the ones that you saw. You said 20 of them?
Yeah, there was 20 that were supposed to be like, the best or the greatest or something to that effect. Those were the 3, other than the one that I sent you, again, because it was, more on the 80-20 thing. But those were the 3 that personally resonated with me on many levels, where it was just like, dude, I get that. Like, it just, inner child was like, yeah, man, I feel you, bro. So.
Yeah. Oh.
That's they tickled me enough. They excited my, my inner enough that it was like, I have to do this. It resonated that well. What do you have there? Is this from the?
Well, I mean, I would.
Yeah, this is the Walter Russell.
I was just thinking that I would put him in the category of, really, to some extent, the great list of, or the list of greats that he put in this portion talking about.
Well, you're reading from Walter Russell's.
So I'm reading from the same book we had here last time.
Yeah, that blue cover textbook from 1950.
A New Concept of the Universe. So.
A New Concept of the Universe by Walter Russell.
Right. So.
You need to have this bookmark. Dead air is not good, and we know this.
Yeah, the problem is I don't want to just read it all. I mean, he's got a list of the. All right. Thus it is that man has ever been transformed by the renewing of his mind, with new knowledge given to him since his early beginnings through the Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita of the early Brahmic days, through such ancient mystics as Lao Tzu, Confucius, Zoroaster, Buddha, Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, Epictetus, Euclid, Muhammad, Moses, Isaiah, and Jesus, whose cosmic knowledge utterly transformed the practice of human relations of their day. I was just thinking to myself that I would put him somewhere in that realm of people.
You would like to add Walter Russell to that list.
I would definitely put him in the same, as well as these other thinkers, and he does at some point list the other scientific thinkers throughout history that have used his technique to gain knowledge.
Well, right, because I think that was the one point that I was drawing on, is he isn't so much just like, hey, this is what the empirical data says, right? This is what the producible facts and whatnot. But he's also drawing from personal experience in a sense. So he allows it to be personal. He allows it to have that bias, right? But at the same time, he's still being intelligent about it. Like, he's proving it to his peers and shit. So that's why. So you would like to add him to that list of spiritual people as well.
I would honestly, because and this is something I can't make light of the experience that he went through, and I don't think I mentioned this when we were talking about him last episode, but he had this experience at age 13 or something like that. And then every year after that, he would take 1 or 2 weeks and do the same thing all over again. Presumably, like in the warmer climate or something like that, that he would go off into the woods for like 2 solid weeks. And I mean, basically,
that was what we were talking about. He was 13 and went and got lost in the woods. So now he's reproducing this ceremony.
And I'm guessing probably fasting and meditating would be my guess. Probably.
Well, I mean, if we follow the practice of what we show, we're showing in the last shaman, you're supposed to cleanse yourself before you cleanse yourself. Basically, you want to rid yourself of everything. You take material, everything, go in as light as possible, so that you're, ready to be. The cleaner you are, the easier it is to clean you, almost.
Yeah, and he was very much the naturalist. It seemed in that sense. Like I think he would just empty his pockets, and I mean, I don't know.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
The few times that I've actually done this, I literally I stripped myself as much as I could in the car, phone, I left keys, everything. Like, dude, I went in with just what I needed to do, what I felt was the appropriate ceremony for what I was doing, cleansing of myself, like being in the know, like all that stuff. So it was, I get that. You don't have to sit there and go in, butt naked, but but you do need to be as pure to you as the energy. I feel like you as the energy and light and love, right? You got to be as raw and honest to that. You have to be impeccable as you go in.
Like I was saying, travel light. Like the whole thing about clothing is that the clothing is meant to be comfortable, right? The whole thing about the stomach is that it's not to be too empty, it's not to be too full, it's the middle path. That's what you follow.
Balance. That's what I'm hearing, balance. Always balance.
So it's a lot of different things like that in your setup to get ready for this experience.
Well, so you're saying, so now he's done his big experience as 13, but now he's, getting older, like 15, 16. It sounds like you said he's doing it every 2 years or so.
From what I read and from what I heard in recordings, people talking about people that had lived life with him said that, this was a yearly experience from the time that he was very young.
Okay,
so he would repeatedly.
So it wasn't even so much that I guess it doesn't really matter if it was. I mean, it sounds like he probably tried to continuously do it at the same degree, in a sense, to take as many variables out. So it would be like the same week every year or the same spot. I mean, did he try different locations? Did he do? I mean,
I don't think the location mattered so much. I think it was more like the connection had to be made because, and I think some of it might be like I was saying before that a lot of these creative types would go into this aether space and there basically have your 3-dimensional drawing room and you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, the holodeck or the Matrix training course spot or whatever.
He might have spent a lot of time in there, which isn't the higher aspect reality you're talking about in deep transcendental meditation. That's like the first level.
Yeah, it's like the in-between. It's, the spot where you can play around with stuff and see how things work, kind of a thing.
But I get the feeling that he, like I said last time, lack of a better term, commune with God the entire time. So a couple weeks out of the year, every year from the time he was 13. And have a true connection, like a oneness.
So what you're saying is he had such a profound connection going out into nature, getting lost when he was like 13, that he continued to do that at minimum like once a year, just to continuously grow his and not so much his knowledge but his knowing, if I want to say that a little bit more the way we would talk, if that makes sense. So it wasn't so much that he was gaining knowledge as he was just knowing things, meaning that he was just a part of it. So
gaining and knowing, I kind of like that, because that
well, cause, it's like that, what do you want, Einstein and Tesla thing, where it's like, this isn't my knowledge, I'm just the conduit. So it's not that I have knowledge, it's just I know this. The knowing, that's how I equate it, but that's me.
I mean, that, and also, the focus should be on the fact that thinking. There's a reason it's thinking. There's a reason it's knowing. It's a constantly moving and evolving, and as you gain more knowledge, more information about different things, more information about yourself, self-discovery, whatever it is.
Well, see, and there's like the philosopher in me that wants to be like, well, even if you know, do you really know you know? There is no chair. But that's why I like it goes it's semantics, right? This goes back to the whole what's the difference between truth and honesty. How do you it's how you perceive it. Like, what is that piece of? What do you see it as? And I don't know, but yeah, I like. So now he's going out, and does he do this for life? Do you know? I mean, do you have that information for her, or is it just as he was growing up, he just did this? So from like 13, then maybe 14, 15, like into his 20s, 30s. Do you know?
I'd have to look into that, but I got the impression that it was a yearly occurrence for him, like a routine, like literally routine, like every year, annual. So,
right, but
that it helped it
for at least a few decades, if not most of his life, or something possibly. We'd have to research that. Where's our fact checker? Look that up.
Because especially when he started trying to get involved as the polymath that he was, trying to get involved in the scientific community to try and get some of these things furthered. Like his involvement in that kind of it created a whole new following for him. And he seemed determined to get this information out there, but he had that feeling we were talking about, right? The oneness. Like when in that he puts himself in that state where he's one with everything. And that's why it could take months or years, well, I guess quite a long time, to process all that information and be able to turn that into actual understandable text that you could read.
And to me, that goes I think my example was the Bob Lazar thing, where doing non-reactionary propulsion systems, using gravity, to us in our understanding, like our physics, we can comprehend it. Materially, we can't produce it, but because it can't be producible, quite a few kind of just look at it and just go, well, no, even though it makes sense, no, I don't get it and it doesn't work. But it does. And you have to have a greater understanding or a more openness in order for those ideas to kind of sink in or work for you, because it just because it doesn't match your mental state now doesn't mean it's not true, right? Just because you can't. So these greater, more profound statements, it'd probably take the greater population of all of us quite a bit of time to get used to that, right?
Well, and without going like verbatim, word for word through this book, which honestly wouldn't translate very well over a recording. It takes a long time to unpack all this stuff.
I can imagine that's quite a bit of information.
Even just to read it, like you'd almost have to meditate on each, section.
Even maybe like paragraph by paragraph, depending on how in depth he's getting, right?
But I get the impression that maybe subsequent years as he's going back after his general, hey, it's me again, like his union and all that he has a lot of stuff in his green room that he has to work out.
Right. I like that. That was nice. I like that.
In his right, his inner space, his ether to process. You know what I mean? But it's like, how do you describe having a complete and total connection with everything? Like,
What? Right.
Oh my God.
But how do you describe what consciousness is? How do you describe what a soul is? How do you describe what love is? I mean,
How do you describe the color
How does a
blue?
rainbow work? How does policy track?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, that goes back to the philosophical aspect. It's like just because we know or we feel we know doesn't mean that we actually know. It's just a feeling, right? But I think that goes back to us being human, and we're sensory machines, because that's how our consciousness works in these suits, right? As we are, if we're like a bio machine, and then our consciousness is the soul that drives it. It's almost like we're a walking, talking go-kart, Godzilla suit, something or other. It's just a human, and then all of a sudden it's just bing, pops us in, and we're just, there we go, I get to drive, woo, and then you do your thing, right? I don't know. Maybe. So yeah, I mean that's why it's like I get the whole if that's what it is, and we're in this kind of sensory system, then we're limited by our ability to understand or comprehend, because we're so continuously habituated to just our senses that not using our mind is very, or not even using our mind, but using our ability to tap into the other energies around us. Truer knowledge, right? Then it just becomes more difficult to understand or trust in that.
I am a firm believer that there's a lot of lost knowledge, a lot of lost technology, if you will,
yes.
in that area.
In everything.
That and
many cultures.
You can find papers released by the government now. That talk about some of these programs that they would do. I mean, like we were talking about, just dipping into like the whole conversation with MK Ultra. But
yeah, we did do that.
They kind of tested. Well, that was in our prior show, but yeah, they tested a lot of very fringe science ideas.
Ethically.
Fringe. Well, ethically and scientifically speaking.
Right.
Yes.
The paranormal as well as like questionable on a moral level. Right, I get that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure some video games were made up after the ideas that were, yeah, radically gene splicing, strange acid-induced.
Maybe not.
I don't know. Who knows? I mean, there's all kinds of twisty stories that you could go down. But
so, what was your point with that?
Oh God, do I have a point?
You brought it up. I figured you should. This is the green room, so it doesn't really matter yet, right?
No, it really doesn't. Like we are just free to. We're just testing the mic right now. That's all. And I'm coming in good there.
I think you can come in a little bit better, but it's.
You just.
Well, I keep saying we need. We need additional equipment. We're going to get one more piece, and that's going to make a big difference. Well, when you talk like that, it doesn't like you.
I know.
It talked to me later. It was just like, hey, what's up? I'm going to tell you about this.
I don't want to just fill the air with all this talk about how I'm using the microphone. It's going to come through the way it comes through, so damn it, just deal with it.
Shortly we will have additional 48 volt phantom power, and that will make a massive difference, as well as the capability to tune us a little bit better, give us a more dynamic sound.
Yeah, he may be connecting one of those electrodes to me to make sure he can just wake me up so I can talk a little louder every once in a while. So I think that's the idea.
I didn't, but I do now. The fact that you brought it up first tells me that you're at least on some level okay with this idea.
Oh, what's that scene from Ghostbusters? Where he's holding up the cards.
Oh,
It's like got 3 wavy lines, and he's like, "No,
it's just not your day, buddy." It's just like it's a big star. He's just like, "Can you see these? What's going on here?" Yeah, no, yeah. She's like 0 for 4. He's like 1 for 4, and it's on the last one. He's like couple of wavy lines. He's like, "This just isn't your day." And it's like, no, bro, that was.
He shocks the gum right out of his mouth. It's like,
you want to know what the effect is? It's pissing me off, right? That's I do love me the Ghostbusters. Every scene of that movie, from like one just sequential, it's well done writing, production. Yeah, that's a great movie.
So why was it redone? Never mind. Anyway, that's a question for another day.
I'll be honest, I actually liked it.
I don't know.
Grow Ghostbusters is pretty dope. And
If
they
you say
paid
so.
homage in the correct fashion. Like, as a fan, I appreciated it.
I can't talk on it.
I was able to take my daughter to it, and we both enjoyed the movie-going experience in the cinema. It was delightful. Much love.
Of course, as a proper father, though, you introduced the first one several times first, right?
Pretty sure I even showed her the second as well. She had all and told, because then it was... Because I want to say it was subsequent watchings that there was less involvement on her part wanting. And so then when all of a sudden it was like, hey, now she's actually... I'll go, hey, you feel like watching Ghostbusters right now? Boom, let's do it. And she'll actually okay. And I think we actually just watched it like about 3 months ago, the original. You have to. It's
fun.
Good.
Yeah.
It's great. You got to. Bill Murray, you know what I mean?
Yeah, sometimes I just try to put something like that on for the
Dan
kids, and they're like,
Aykroyd.
"What is this?" And I'm like, "Dude, just," and I'll be like, "No, I'm not. You can't watch it. Get out of the room." And then they get interested. I'm like, "No, just go away." Daddy's watching it.
I mean, that was my thing.
It's like, what's that? Well, it's a giant marshmallow man, but you're not allowed to watch. You think it sucks, so to get out.
Well, but that's so. I did the same thing with the Princess Bride. It's a story about a princess that get kidnapped, and then she's forced to marry an evil prince. And then the real man, who's actually a pirate, who isn't a pirate because he is a prince, saves her. And she's just like, wait, there's a princess that gets kidnapped? And I was like, boom, I found my trigger.
Actually, the you wouldn't like it thing, wasn't that the thing that the grandpa was doing with him? About
Oh, you don't know. You don't want to hit. No,
Yeah.
this is, wait, Grandpa. Wait. Yeah. Reverse psychology, right?
Princess Bride is a great movie.
Oh, yeah. Well, so using the princess idea, I then I did Big Trouble in Little China. I moved right on over to I was just like, all right, so you remember that princess
There's two
movie?
princesses in that.
Dude, right? I was like, remember that princess movie? She's like, yeah. I was like,
Green eyes.
I was like, there's another one where there's two princesses that both have enchanting, magical green eyes that get kidnapped by an evil, and she's just like, I'm in. Like, I don't even have to finish. I'm all in now. And then, luckily, because I was about to be like Kung Fu, which would have probably lost it, right? But I didn't. I held it because she cut me off, thankfully. We watched it. We got halfway through, and she's like, this is like a Kung Fu movie. And I was like, I know, it's dope, right? Yeah, she was not.
I'm just calling you out, Dad.
Pretty much.
It's all right, but you kind of lied.
Well, she did enjoy it. Like, so we did watch it for, the one time, the first time was like all entirety, no ifs, ands, or buts. Like, she actually watched it. Didn't greatly enjoy it, but she did watch it. She's my trooper.
And she called you out on your deception.
Well, I would expect nothing less. I have done my job.
Word. Right.
Which that's how I look at it. In case you hear that
good
clinking, I have delicious libations that we're sharing.
I keep trying to get my girls to watch Pinocchio. I'm like, you like cartoons. I'm like, you should watch Pinocchio. I'm like, it's a good one. Like, actually watch it, though. Don't sit there on your phone. If you get up, we'll pause it. Like, actually watch it.
That's asking a lot.
I know. But it's a cartoon.
You would think. See, you have to...
To them, it's like, yeah. It's like it's like Tinker Toy.
Well, but they've grown up in a world where everything is a cartoon. Right. Even they can be a cartoon with their iPads or their interactive tablets of sorts.
True.
Right, dude? So to be a cartoon, they're just like, yeah, and that was me on Tuesday. What up? Nothing. Bored. That was so 23 seconds ago, Pops. What else you got, buddy? It was Back to the Future 2 when he goes into the cafe. He's like, I'll show you how to play this game. Boom, 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 boom. And he's like, you have to use your hands? What a child's game.
It's
what?
like a baby's toy.
Yeah, right. It's like a baby's toy. Yeah, dude, come on. You kidding me?
He's like...
I do, and he's like, dope. Dude, we look at it, we're like, bro, way to gunsling, my man. They look at it and you see a baby's toy. You're just like, so, dude, it's all about your perspective, right? What kind of perception do you get from that?
What was funny is that scene has actually been played several times from different angles, hasn't it? The same scene where he can do that with he's been programmed to shoot like that.
Oh, because then again in the third one, he's in the Old West or whatever now, right?
The guy wants him to try the brand new pistol.
Yeah.
He's like just selling on the road.
Yeah.
He's like, you can keep that one. You don't need it.
When he's like, when he tells me, he's just like, yeah, if you die, he's like, I'm gonna take the gun back. All right, good talk, buddy. He's like, wait, what? Voting for you though. Make me proud.
Anyhow, so
Right.
I'm just gonna put it there. Oh, come on. All right. So where are we going? Where are we going?
To grandmother's house, over the hill and through the woods. To grandmother's house we go. Yeah, that can wait.
Yes.
I mean, what is the green room? I don't know. There's like no rules in the green room, right?
Well,
What happens in the green room stays in the green room outside of what gets recorded on the mics, I guess.
Well, do we have enough? We have enough green room.
Well, what do we always say if we start getting into a heated debate, or if the conversation takes a lower? It's like, all right, I think it's time to take a break.
Not necessarily. I mean,
But dude,
it's your call.
well, this is our call. It's anybody's call. I mean, honest. All right, so if we start pumping this stuff out, right, and people are listening to it, and they're telling you, put it in the type in, comments, blah 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 blah. We would like to you help us out. You know what I mean? Like, we're here to listen to you, even though you're listening to us. Because it's not about what we're doing here. We're just trying to have open, organic conversations, right? And we're hoping that from this, somebody eventually at some point will take something from it and make themselves a better person and make the world a better place. Right? That's it. It's that simple. The old, what's the old idiom with the teacher of like, if I can just reach one student, I've done my job, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's true. I mean,
That's how
truly reach. I mean,
Yeah.
like life-changing moment. Yeah.
Again, touching that one person with that one, like, dude, we could have 5,000 episodes, and it's episode 3,912, 27 minutes and 13 seconds in, and I'm just I say something about a hot dog with a penguin, and the guy's like, oh my god, I totally get it now, right? Or that one girl is just like, holy, I can't believe I never thought of it. Dude, it triggers that thing. I don't know.
I'm just gonna nod. But that doesn't really work. So yes.
Again, it's not for you. It's for that one person.
It is. It's for that one person. I'm.
So we could be talking about making a chocolate bundt cake, or angel food, or making your own frosting. We could be talking about tacos or cars, or
Where suddenly
economic
someone
system.
has that aha moment, that really.
And the light bulb goes off for that person, and they create cold fusion. I don't know. They find a way to get universal basic income to work where everybody is like copacetic, and it's an actual productive system, and we can grow as a society because all we do is think about like science and art and cool stuff like that. I don't know. This is my hope.
I don't know. I mean, you never know. It could be like Bill and Ted, Like their music brought peace to the world, right?
God brought rock and roll to you. Put it in your soul. Yeah, man. Yes. And maybe that was the statement right there. Your statement of just like, oh, it's just like, and that one person's like, oh my God, I got to go back and watch number 2. That was that thing. And that was the thing. I don't know.
So this is Bill S. Preston, Esquire.
And Ted Theodore Logan. Yeah.
Together we are Wild Stallions.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that probably sounded really dumb.
I could care less. It's the green room.
Yeah.
It does not matter.
All right, so
matter.
we ready to pull the trigger here? Or?
Is that, dude?
Well, I don't know.
It sounds like you want to.
Well, I mean, no, it doesn't matter, I guess.
All right. Good deal. Well, then, good talk. We're going to break. We're going to come back. I'm going to finish this. Maybe we'll start a heated debate somewhere and then have to get on the mic. So
A heated debate.
Maybe.
Oh, is it like that?
Well, I mean...
Am I rushing us out of the green room? Is that why you're...
Well, no. I just... Sometimes, I like to turn it up a little bit.
I mean, I don't know.
What's the old saying, man? If it burns, that means it's working. So if it's going to burn, it's got to be heated up, right?
That tingle tells you it's working.
Oh... I don't know, hopefully it gives you that tingle.
Are you feeling tingly right now?
No, but maybe in 5 minutes. All right, well, thank you for listening. Green Room. I'll see you later.